Hello everyone and welcome to Tony's Healthy Kitchen. I am your host, Tony La Ferrara. Each episode of our 10-part video series will focus on a different health topic that is important to our well-being as we get older. With the help of our guests, we will explore and learn more about each topic from a medical perspective, and we will also focus on healthy food options, fitness tips, and delicious, easy to prepare recipes that will help us improve and maintain a healthy lifestyle as we get older. Today's topic is dietary fiber. To help us understand and learn more about this very important topic is registered dietitian Michelle Fedele. Hi Michelle, and welcome to Tony's Healthy Kitchen.
Hi Tony, thank you so much for having me today. I'm so excited to be here with you.
It's our pleasure to have you on, Michelle. Dietary fiber is a very important health topic. And, I just want to start by saying that I remember growing up, my parents always used to say, make sure you eat your roughage. And there was always plenty of greens and plenty of roughage on the plate. Nowadays, we call it fiber. Is roughage and fiber the same thing?
It is. Your parents were very wise, and they were wise beyond their years to know that it's important for you to have this fiber or roughage. What it is, and it helps you. These fiber things you can see in front of me, which we'll go through later, they can't get absorbed in your body. So they go through your stomach, through your small intestines, your colon, and helps you have bowel movements. It has lots of health benefits, which we'll get into. But yes, it's the same thing. I guess we're just more fancy now calling it fiber.
Right. And Michelle, are there any different types of fiber? I know about soluble and insoluble fiber. Is there a difference between the two?
Absolutely. They're both super important, and it's important to have an equal amount of both each day. So soluble fiber kind of forms like a gel-like substance in water, and it helps you, like in terms of your cholesterol, helps you to have lower cholesterol. It helps you keep full for longer, which does help with healthy weight. Insoluble fiber is extremely important, which comes from the skins of the fruits and vegetables, and it helps you pass through your small bowel and large colon, help you go to the bathroom, make regular bowel movements. It's super important to do both.
Right. So it is wise to be able to use both. Should we eat more of one than the other?
Well, it depends on your situation. If you have no other conditions going on, and you just want to have a healthy, balanced diet, then a good combination of both would be great. Some food labels do offer you the difference in the amount of fiber between soluble and insoluble. Right. However, if you're having issues like GI issues, if you're having a lot of loose stool, you want to have more soluble fiber, the kind that bulks you up, that's going to help form the bowel movements to be more solidified. And on the contrary, if you're having issues going to the bathroom, insoluble fiber is going to help move things along the intestine. So both play an important role. So I think if all is well with you, have a good balance of both, which you see here in front of me, and I'll go through it, is going to make your day just perfect.
Yeah, Michelle. So you have a lot on display on your kitchen table. So what are some of the examples of soluble fiber and insoluble fiber?
Sure. So here in this container here, I have my oatmeal. This is an example of soluble fiber. Also, psyllium fiber, as well as I have here my bran buds as well that you can put on cereals. These things are going to help you help with your cholesterol, help lower the bad cholesterol, the LDL, and it also keeps you full for longer, and that is also helpful in terms of weight control, which is important as we age to make sure that our weight is at a good, healthy amount.
Right.
Other examples I have here are different cereals. Now, these cereals do have a combination of both, and I'll discuss about how to read a food label later if you'd like. I have beans and lentils, legumes here. These are all soluble fiber. And here I have some fruits, some citrus fruits, some kale. That's all insoluble fiber.
Most of us consume less than 50% of the fiber that we need daily. So what is the recommended amount, and how can we include more fiber in our diet?
Yeah, that's a great question, Tony. It's true, we do eat far less than we should, and that's when we run into other gastrointestinal issues, whether it's constipation, whether it's loose stool, whether it's bloating. So you need to have the right amount. So for men and women over the age of 51, we want men to be around 30 grams a day, and for women, about 21. So to give you an example of what that looks like, if we look at this Fiber One cereal, we always look at the top part where it says the serving. So for this one, it says 1 cup. 1 cup already has 13 grams of fiber. So that's amazing. A great way to start your day is to start with cereals because it's going to jump you up. So if you need 50 a day, Tony, you start with the 13. You can put some bran buds, sprinkle them on top, and now you're up to the 25. You're already at half your amount, and the day just started. So it's really easy to get it in. You just have to make sure that you have these things at home, and having a pantry list of items, which I can definitely provide for you to show with your viewers. It would be helpful for them to know how to grocery shop.
Do you have a favorite food that, helps you with the plumbing?
Yeah, exactly. So it's such an important topic, and you really want to have good amount of fiber, but to show you one of the recipes I made, I also want to preface this by having water and liquid.
Right.
Because if we start to increase our fiber, which is a great thing, but we don't include enough liquids, we're going to become constipated, and then you're going to be mad at me, Tony. So we need to make sure that we drink enough fluids to help push through that fiber through our digestive system. Now I have some energy balls here. And I'll just lift one up for you if you can see it. These are great because they're no bake. And that's what I'm all about because I'm in a rush, taking kids to school, going off to work. I'll have the recipe linked for your viewers, but in one of these balls, there's already 4 grams of fiber in here. So if you're in a rush, you need a snack, or even for the kids, you pop these in their lunch, they're nut-free, and you can just pop them in and you've got some fiber right there. I paired it together with some pears actually that have 5 grams of fiber per pear. So this dish here alone is going to get you to at least a quarter of your needs for the day.
From a medical point of view, what are the benefits of a high fiber diet?
Yes, that's a great question, Tony. So there's many, many benefits to fiber. One of the main things for sure is weight control. A lot of cancers and illnesses are linked to obesity. So if we as a society and as we age, keep our weight within a good BMI, which is your body mass index, which tells you the right weight for your height, that's going to help you prevent many illnesses. And the fiber keeps you full with such small portions, so you feel like satiety, you feel full, you don't feel like you're starving or dieting, because I don't believe in diets. We need to eat all this food here. It's low calorie and high fiber. Also, with diabetes, if any of our viewers have diabetes, having the right amount of fiber helps you keep full longer and also helps stabilize your blood sugar. So it's extremely important to have enough fiber, especially if you are living with diabetes. Another main component is cancers. There's a lot of research done, a lot of studies out there that indicate having good, adequate fiber, meaning going through your small bowel to your large and having good bowel movements, help and prevent against colon cancer, as well as other GI issues like diverticular disease and blood pressure. So there's so many benefits, Tony. It's not just going to the bathroom. However, going to the bathroom is way more important than we give it credit.
Yes. Oh, no, for sure. I know something about that. What about fiber supplements, Michelle? I mean, there's a lot of that. If you walk into a pharmacy, there's a lot of that stuff on the shelves. Are they recommended? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, as a dietitian, I feel if we are healthy and we don't have any other conditions that need consideration, you can get all you need from the foods I have here in front of you. There are supplements, let's say Metamucil, psyllium, Benefiber, just to name a few. You can do that. The only thing is that when you're using those, it's taking away the vitamins and nutrients you're not getting as you'd be eating these foods. So I know we're always looking for convenience. And yes, once in a while, if you need some extra fiber, the Metamucil or the beta-fiber or psyllium is not a problem. It's just that you are getting the fiber with that, but you're not getting the vitamins and all the minerals that you're getting cooking with these fresh fruits and vegetables.
Right. So a lot of us, when we get to a certain age, unfortunately are on medication. We take certain types of medication. Can, fiber interfere with some medication? Should we be careful about that?
Well, if you're eating your fiber, like the ones I have here, you're fine to eat as much fiber as you want with your medications. That's not the issue. The issue that arises perhaps is that if you're taking Metamucil or psyllium or any of those other supplements you find in the pharmacy, the whole job of those supplements are to help bulk things up into a little group and pass it through your intestines.
Right.
So if you're taking it with the same time as your medication, it could lessen the effect because the medication is going through you together with the Metamucil. So I would separate it, if you're doing Metamucil, from your medication 2 hours before and 2 hours after you take the meds. But if you're just eating, eat as much fiber as you want because that's not going to interfere.
Right. So, Michelle, do you have a list or a preferred list of foods that have a lot of fiber and they're very good for you?
Yes, for sure. So examples here, what you want to look for are things in a label, like if you're looking at breads or cereals and it says per serving up top, you want at least 2 to 4 grams per serving. So it's not like wasting your time, to say the lack of a better word. So for example, if you're picking a pasta, instead of just picking a regular white pasta, this brand, for example, has extra fiber in it, and there's 8 grams of fiber in here for just 1 cup of pasta, whether a regular white pasta may only have 2.
Right.
This one, it does a double duty. You get great carbohydrates, great energy from it, but also there's 8 grams in here, so that would be great. Also, what I do often is these are bran buds. I use them in my baking. I sprinkle them on my salad. Also, bran flour or whole wheat flour. So if my recipe for baking calls for 2 cups of white flour, I use 1 cup white and 1 cup whole wheat. So I'm trying to sneak in that extra fiber wherever I can. So I do that. Also, there's some dates here, which are really high in fiber. You just want to be mindful not to eat a whole lot of them because they're very calorically dense.
Right.
So just 3 or 4 gives you an extra 5 grams of fiber, which is a great snack over like potato chips, which doesn't have anything.
Right.
So, and incorporating beans and lentils, and these are chickpeas, and I made a chickpea mash sandwich that we can talk about, or hummus with carrots. These are great snacks, Tony, that you can definitely add in very easily into your kids' lunches, your grandkids.
Yeah, Michelle, we were talking about lentils and beans and fagioli. We love that stuff. What about the canned beans and canned lentils and chickpeas and so on? Are they recommended? And what are your thoughts on that?
So I have a display here of both dried and I have canned chickpeas.
Yeah.
I often get asked that question. Now, of course, we're looking for less sodium as much as possible. But sometimes you're not always able to soak your beans overnight, or if you don't have an Instapot, it's hard to always work with dried beans. So if you're using canned, which I do have here, chickpeas, I do buy them lower sodium. I do rinse them in my sink. I do actually save that water that was in the can. It's called aquafaba, and I use it as an egg replacer as well. So that's a great binder if you want to do egg-free baking. So I do save that liquid, and I just rinse it off. Yes, the sodium's still there, but I'd rather you eat these beans from a can than go for potato chips for a snack.
You mentioned water before, Michelle. You mentioned it a couple of times in our discussion. So we know it's important, but we want to hear from you. How important is it that we keep ourselves hydrated all day and we drink lots of water?
It's so important. It's amazing how many of us are walking around like prunes and dehydrated. And we as children never really drank, so we don't really think about drinking. But a quick way for you to figure out how much water do I need. Now, I'll preface this by saying if you're a healthy individual, you don't have any fluid restrictions in your diet. If you're above 55 to 75, you need 30 mils of fluid for every kilo you weigh.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll say it again. So for ages 55 to 75, for every kilo that you weigh, you need 30 mils. So you just multiply 30 mils by your kilo, and that's going to give you an indication of how much you need specifically for your weight and your age. And if you're over 75, that drops down to 25 mils per kilo. So that's going to help you have an idea, not just the blanket statement of 8 glasses a day. And, you know, fluid is not just water. You know, you can have it in a good calorically dense way, like with soups and stews, and yogurts have free fluid. So it's not just water.
Right. A cup of tea, perhaps?
A cup of tea counts. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we just don't also want you to have 10, 15 cups of tea and fill yourself up. So then you're not going to be able to eat all this great food. So
Exactly.
It's all about a balance.
That's true. It's all about balance, isn't it? You know, I think that's the magic word with when it comes to food. So Michelle, do you have some favorite recipes that you would like to share with us?
I do. So I made 3. I mean, there's so many. Fiber is one of my favorite topics, which my family does make fun of me for talking about too often. But what I have here is a chickpea mash sandwich. So instead of the egg salad sandwich or the tuna sandwich, what I did is I just took the chickpeas. Now, these ones were canned, like I mentioned. And I smushed them all up with a potato masher or just a fork. And I put some of my favorite things in there. So I like Dijon mustard. I put some plain Greek yogurt in there versus mayonnaise because the Greek yogurt will have higher protein in there without the fat. So that would be a good option for you. I put some green onions, which I love, some dill, and some pumpkin seeds in there for some extra protein and fiber. And as you see over here, it looks just like an egg sandwich, but it's full of chickpeas. I've accompanied it with some cherry tomatoes, they're so delicious this time of year, and some carrots. And that's a great lunch. Yeah. And it really only took me 10 minutes, Tony, so it was super quick.
Yeah, and it looks and it sounds delicious. That's on my list right now, Michelle. Yes. Any other recipes you want to share with us?
Another great snack, like I mentioned, were my energy balls here. That really, you can put them with anything. And so what's in there that makes it solidify together is you can use any nut butter you want, or you can use soy nuts if you don't want to use any nuts for school, the no nut product. I have dates in here. You can also use raisins. I have oats that I used from my oat container here. I put some maple syrup just to help it together. I put in the fridge for about 30 minutes, took it out, and just rolled them up, and they're ready to go.
Well, one of my many favorites is this Mediterranean bean soup. And the ingredients are super simple. An Italian sofrito of onions, carrots, and celery, plus the garlic, lots of Italian fresh herbs, and a large pot with 2 or 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Cook all the vegetables until they're soft. Add the beans, add the turmeric, the Parmigiano rind, some vegetable broth or water, 1 peperoncino, and let it simmer for about 30-35 minutes. And just before you add the Swiss chard and the spinach, use an immersion blender and pulse it 3 or 4 times to thicken the soup. It takes about 40-45 minutes for this Mediterranean bean soup to be ready, but it's delicious, nutritious, and full of fiber. And anything left over will be even better the following day. Michelle, a tomato salad, you know, tomatoes and basil and onions, it's a good source of fiber, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you get enjoying now in Ontario all the great fresh local tomatoes that are available now, which taste amazing. And I really love to use what's local and fresh at the time. So you're getting the most nutrients. And if you do want to have some good Ontario vegetables in the winter, buying them frozen actually is a great option because they're frozen at their best point and there's no sodium added. So instead of using canned, you can definitely use frozen veggies, which would be a great option for the winter time. Again, Michelle, thank you very much. And we'll see you again in some of the other episodes. We enjoyed your presentation. I learned a lot, and and we'll see you again. Great, thank you. Thank you, Michelle. And thank you to all of you for dropping by my kitchen, Tony's Healthy Kitchen. Please join me again next week. We will discuss the topic of sugar and everything sweet
with certified diabetes educator Rowena Leon. Until then, be well and stay healthy.